All right.
Shout out to SSiTV. Thank you for having me.
This is a shout out to SSiTV. Thank you so much for providing a platform for these conversations.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at SSiTV Africa. My name is Donna, and I am here today with Carolyn from Pageants SA. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, perfect. So today we are going to learn all about Pageants SA and how long it has been around for and all that good information. So let us get started into that. So Carolyn, let's start at the beginning. What made you start Pageants SA?
Donna, thank you very much for having me today. I do appreciate it. In 1998, I saw a gap in the market to host pageants that were actually honest and fair and unbiased. And I attended a pageant in early 2000 where I actually caught the organizer taking a bribe from the contestant's mom. And when I spoke to her about it, she turned around and said to me, well, if you can do better, then do so. So I took up the challenge, and that was 22 years ago. And ever since then, it's just gone up and up and up. And we've had incredible title holders over the years. And I must say that having crowned nearly 8,000 title holders, we've been instrumental with these title holders to do nearly 4 million charities. And I think it's an incredible feat over the years. So it was started as a challenge from another organizer who was corrupt. And I decided that Pageants SA would follow an honest, ethical and unbiased platform, and that's exactly what we've done.
Oh wow, that was quite the start, and well done for lasting all these years then.
Thank you.
So, growing up, did you yourself ever dream of becoming a pageant queen?
Believe it or not, Donna, I actually started with back 40 years ago, the Transvaal Education Department used to have courses where you could attend a floristry course or a photogenic course or a modeling course, different courses in the arts type of field. And I actually joined up as one of the modeling courses as a model. And I must say, I went from strength to strength. I was one of Fashini's and Edgar's models in the day. And I was the face of Helena Rubinstein, which was a makeup product and a skincare product. So over the years, I got out of the industry. I did a lot of pageants myself, not a lot, but in those days, there weren't a lot of pageants around, not like today, where every single corner you can go and get a pageant. There were quite a few town pageants. We used to have your local town pageant, and from there the town pageant went on to the regional pageant that went on to then ultimately your Miss South Africa pageant. And then we had our Model of the Year competitions within the modelling school, which was part of the Transvaal Education Department. And I actually then got my qualifications as a model, as a pageant coach, and as a judge and an organizer. So that was my start in the industry. So I can actually acquaint my startup in the industry to the Transvaal Education Department, which was quite incredible. I'm actually still friends to this day with the modeling teacher that was teaching us back then. And we've come a long way, and pageantry has come a long way. So yes, I didn't see myself back then hosting or organizing pageants. It just happened by chance. And then when I did start hosting pageants, I went on to get my Epic International certification from the USA that gives me the right to host pageants, to be a proper ethical pageant organizer, to be a pageant judge. And I've now judged around the world, from Russia to Ecuador to Las Vegas to New York to the UK, Bulgaria. I've been truly blessed with judging around the world. So that's a little bit of the history of myself. And I just intend to take pageantry and keep it honest and ethical.
Wow, that's quite the history, hey? And how did you start with Pageants SA in terms of the finances and the setup?
It was all just on a wing and a prayer. I just decided I would launch the Miss Junior South Africa when I was challenged. And I started off with the Miss Tiny South Africa, Miss Petite South Africa, and Miss Preteen South Africa. I registered and trademarked the titles. And I hosted it at Sun City. I took this gamble. I ran off to Sun City, and we had over 380 contestants our first year, which was incredible. I remember sitting on the floor in my office, still trying to get paperwork together, while my late husband, was busy packing the truck with all the gifts and the prizes. We had a warehouse full of prizes and gifts. And it was like, okay, the truck's leaving and I'm not paperwork. What am I doing? But it was an incredible start. And I think my background, having been in pageantry as well, made it a lot easier. And having been in business for so many years as well, it did make it easier. But I just jumped headlong into it, and I've never looked back. I've never looked back.
Nice. And what does Pageants SA today teach young girls?
Okay, first and foremost, our focus is on charity. And we really truly want to bring the essence of pageantry back to what it should be. Now, when pageant started a couple of decades ago, many decades ago, it was started to help the local sort of community raise money for maybe a family that was in need, or a project in the town that was needed to be done. And I've tried to keep that concept alive by getting the finalists to actually get very involved with community work. So our charity is our main focus, and teaching the children from a young age to pay it forward, to do a little kindness and a random act of kindness every day. It doesn't cost you anything, just to be nice, and just to maybe give somebody a loaf of bread that's up in the cold, or a cup of coffee. So it's not big things that we want people to do. It's not a case of going and hosting a function where you raise tens of thousands of rands. It's just that little bit of kindness that can actually help people realize there's still humanity left in the world.
That is quite lovely. And what do you think a contestant needs in terms of personality and drive in order to do well in your pageants?
Okay, they need to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. Now, by that I mean is, when they go into our interview, we don't ask them general knowledge questions. Our judges actually have a conversation with the contestants where they are questioned about their community work. They're questioned about how they will work their title as a title holder. It doesn't help you get this massive title over your shoulder and you do absolutely nothing during the year with it. Then you've just wasted your time and your energy. So our focus is on selecting a winner who will be able to talk the talk. And by that I mean is looking back at their journey as a finalist. When the judges question them, they need to be able to talk about what they did. It's not just a case of, oh, I went to the SPCA, just because mommy's taught them to say that. The judges are actually going to say, right, now when you went to the SPCA, what exactly did you do? So it's more in depth of finding out, did this person actually do what they said they were going to do? And that's what's important. And then when I say walk the walk, we basically want the contestants to be able to be poised, to have great personality on the ramp. We don't want them to walk on the ramp as if they've broken a leg. There's so many pageants around where these poor girls lean so far backwards. You're going, whoa, 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 you're going to fall over backwards any minute now. Or they do these little turns with their feet and these little shuffles that eventually they get so dizzy that they overbalance on the ramp. You just want the poise, the posture, the elegance to flow through. And that's what we're looking for. So if you're poised, postured, and you've got elegance, and you can walk without falling over your own 2 feet, then you can actually win the Miss Junior South Africa.
Oh, that's great. And what additional advice would you give to those who are interested in taking part in these pageants for the first time?
Yeah. What's most important is they need to know what they're getting into. First of all, it's not a cheap sport. So if a parent wants to get their children involved in a pageant, they do need to have a little bit of background in the training part of it. You can't go and become an Olympic gymnastic winner if you've never been taught how to do a backflip and a somersault and a swivel. And it's the same with pageantry. I see a lot of pageants advertise that you don't need any training whatsoever to be able to be part of our pageant. But unfortunately, that is actually unethical, because then come pageant day, the girls that are going to a modeling school are the girls that are going to win, because they have got used to what the 1.5 T ramp is. They've got used to how to pose, how to stand on the ramp, where to put their hand on their hip. So my advice is start up with a modeling school if a parent can, or come to a modeling workshop. We do pageantry workshops where we actually teach the kids a bit of the basics. They can actually do videos themselves doing the 1.5 T ramp. And I always tell people, you know what, if you can't afford a modeling school, film yourself doing your 1.5 T ramps and send it to me. I will gladly look at it for you, and I will send back what you need to change. And I've actually done that quite a lot over the years with some models. And it's not to show favoritism, it's just to try and help them, give them that empowerment to be able to be part of the pageant. But if a parent can afford to sign up for the modeling school, first of all, check the modeling school out. If they're not sure, ask me. There's a lot of people out there that say they're modeling schools but have not got any kind of background or certification to say that they are actually a qualified modeling teacher. So they just need to maybe just check in with me first.
Okay, great. That is good to know. And lastly, how can people join a Pageants SA pageant?
Okay, we've got the entry forms on our website on www.pageants.co.za, or they can go to our Facebook page, Pageants SA. So it's just Pageants SA on Facebook, or they can look up our Miss and Mr. Junior South Africa pageant, and it says South Africa's largest beauty pageant in the little byline, and they can join via one of those medias.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Carolyn. We have, I'm sure, learned a lot about Pageants SA, and those who are interested in taking part, I'm sure, have taken away quite a lot of interesting information that you have shared.
Donna, the platform that this power of the sash that it actually gives title holder, if the finalist, I found that once they're selected as a finalist, it actually gives them a voice to be able to go and speak to people, to be able to go and get a sponsor to pay for their journey. We don't have a headline sponsor, so we need to charge an entry fee. And the contestants can then actually go out and say, you know what, I'm wearing this sash, I am a finalist, please will you sponsor me? So the power it gives them, and the empowerment that the sash gives to the contestants as well, where they realize they can actually go and approach people. They do have a voice to speak about things. Once they're crowned as a title holder as well, they can actually go and talk about different platforms, on different platforms, about life experiences, etc., etc. A lot of children have come through abused homes, and they come to us, and their parents are getting divorced, etc., etc. And I find that they really realize that being part of the pageants and be part of the Pageants SA family, you've actually got another outlet where you can actually draw courage from, and where you can draw a little bit of help from. And I've actually helped save, just recently, a lady wanted to commit suicide. And I was chatting to her, and she phoned me, and well, I phoned her because I saw a very strange post. And I phoned her and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "No, actually I'm not. I'm actually going to commit suicide." And I said, "Well, please."
Wow.
And 2 hours later, I managed to convince her, "Don't do this." And she's just gone headlong and just changed so much. I'm so proud of her. So yes, there's a lot of different angles to pageantry, not just what you see on the ramp.
That is quite wonderful. And I'm very glad to hear that that person came through in the end and that they are doing all right after all of
Yeah,
that.
that's fun. I was just grateful that I saw what I did at the time, and I was able to actually talk her out of it. But she's the most amazing lady. But I think we're all going through a rough time with COVID, and a lot of people are suffering. So yes, if we can help somebody, and that's what it should be about. It's about helping somebody else, not necessarily money.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again so much. This has been quite a lovely interview, and we are looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.